Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet users transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and lavish affection on their cats while they should be paying attention.
All the cat's fault and whapping his tail in my face.
Yeah, well, believe me, I'm not just talking about you.
Yours just wanders in.
With Dusky, we get wow, wow, wow until up in the lap, and the next thing you know, paw in the beard. Anyway, previously, the newly expanded Cupcake Coterie, after adopting a Minotaur, it's Adopt a Minotaur week, apparently.
I mean, there's worse things to do.
Depends on the Minotaur.
Bring your Minotaur to work day.
And the pun! The pun in it is even worse!
Yes, no, I mean, but like I say, it really does depend on the Minotaur whether that's a good thing or not. In this case, it's probably a good thing, because he's, already quite attached to, at the very least, your cause, and seems to like the rest of you, and it appears to be very much looking forward to, interfering with and hopefully smashing the living shit out of the people who have done bad things to the nice town.
You're damn right.
They've been on the boat, on the little boat that they rescued from Star Coast for the best part of a day, and minor issue with guiding themselves through a river that's a little more active than it usually is because of various bits of... Well, it's wintertime and it gets a little choppy. Let us put it that way. But also, apparently, according to Froseth from the last time, the water and the air want you to get to where you're going. So it generally means it was up to Hazel, who's like... Hazel and Clarity, who are some of the only ones of you that can actually see in darkness. Well, Alice as well, but she's leaving the sailing to you guys for the most part. But you pull in to the dock at the Frowning Trout. It's fairly late, fairly dark, but not as dark as you would expect, because the Frowning Trout is not just this little inn at the edge of the river anymore. It's there have been additions. Remember, these are what moved out of the whole area was a bunch of rather motivated halflings. So there's been an awful lot of building. So you've got various houses and what seems to be some kind of town meeting hall built off to the side a bit. So there's lights in windows and a couple of halflings that, I mean, you don't recognize, but the general dress of them looked a lot like the folks you saw at the edge of the hearth, looking at you a little bit suspiciously in a should we be reaching for weapons kind of way. But yeah, it looks like there's a town forming here. I think you might be muted, Ethan. No, sorry, you weren't, actually. He was mouthing things. It's hard to tell with you! Don't just mouth things, because I'll think you're muted.
I wasn't. That was more just, I was, the stunned look of, I don't know what to say, type of thing.
And Alice looks at Darvin going, I take it this wasn't here before?
No, it was just the Frowning Trout. That's it. It hasn't, I didn't, wow.
Oh, I think I know what happened.
Oh?
The Hearth Halflings happened.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of them are right there. Hi, we're friendly.
For the Cupcake Coterie in from Hearthhome.
There's a certain amount of muttering, and while you're still getting some funny looks, that would probably be because you're an interesting group. So,
Where to first, guys? I mean, there's the obvious answer, but I'm asking you in case you guys suddenly have decided you want to go somewhere else.
I guess first thing would be finding Francine.
Yeah, I'm still kind of holy crap. We're here. This is kind of where it all started, and wow. Okay, we're doing this.
Last we saw it, it was all covered in blood and people. So, improvement.
have I mentioned recently that I like you?
Oh my goodness!
She
Thank you,
is,
Courtney.
in fact, the best. The best.
Wow. Okay. Well, here's a thought. Okay. Well, yes, it's quite late. We're probably going to have an extended conversation with Francine because if she's going to be responsible for, well, a whole lot more than just this, she should probably have as much background as we can provide. That's going to take a while. We still don't really have a good idea what it is we're supposed to be doing.
And for Seth, I think I can do something about that. Sorry, sneeze.
Bless you.
I think I'll leave the rest of this to you. I'm not always. I mean, I'm observant, but I don't talk as much as some of you do. And if you need common sense, I suppose you have some now. I'm going to meditate on what looks at Clarity, going. You haven't spent an awful lot of time with them since Alice joined us. You'd be surprised. She's very much not afraid to apply percussive maintenance.
Sounds good.
Alice is just
I was actually going to suggest much the same. I wasn't sure how it all worked. I didn't know maybe if proximity might have helped now that we're closer, but I figured it might be worth a shot if it's okay with you.
We're not in. I don't think anybody mortal has ever tried anything like this, so there hasn't been time as much as I'd like up until now. At least not when being interrupted by seeing as I didn't try for. So I'm going to stay in the boat for the moment and let you continue. Don't bother too much with any of the rest of it for me. I don't know if fasting is going to be necessary, or there's a lot of things I should probably check to see if I should do. And then just sort of settles into meditative pose and leaves it at that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. I mean, they don't even have guards and such out, so if they were worried about attacks or the like, if that was a strong possibility, there'd be more than slightly weirded out halflings.
That's true, I suppose.
Well, I will carefully get up out the boat so as not to jostle too much.
Hopefully I will avoid breaking any crockery this time.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
For once.
You were struggling, so I figured I'd just let it happen.
Love you too.
Onwards to Drowning Trout and Hopefully nothing breaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Upon entering the Frowning Trout, on one level, it's like, for some of you at least, it's like stepping back in time. The the stains have been washed away, the furniture has been largely replaced, and with a couple of exceptions, it largely full of halflings at the moment, finishing up dinners. The only real exception to that is what appears to be a human male with somewhat curly, somewhat shaggy off brown hair and sensible, highly polished armor sitting in a corner and sort of raises a mug to you all as you step in. Just a friendly sort of hello gesture and goes back to his food. The smell, however, is Francine's fish stew.
Which that just gets a big smile of recognition from Darwin. Just okay. Yeah.
And also, there's an undernote of Francine's equally famous whiskey. Apparently, she's reset up her still. And, the halflings are kind of leaving, not because they're scared of you exactly, but because they're finished and, on their way. And you've got Francine comes out from behind the bar picking up plates and going, "Oh, well, it's been a while."
It is so good to see you.
I'm sure that I haven't met some of you. I'm not entirely sure where some of the rest of you went. She does know about Nora. Remember, it was still the.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was the weird little wizard.
Oh yeah, he decided academics was more his speed.
And your dragonborn friend.
He's out in the
Meditating.
boat.
Meditating.
Fair enough. And you've got. Yeah. She stopped there because she does understand that nothing she says is going to sound particularly good, so she's just waiting for an introduction.
This is Barnabas.
This is Francine.
And what you've got is a short-ish human woman, brownish hair streaked with gray, simple dress.
Mm-hmm.
Very no-nonsense sort, and the motherly kind of build. Beyond that, you can just about see there's some not insignificant muscle tone there. This is one of those people who, if she chases you around with a frying pan, you will feel it.
I know from experience.
And
Thankfully, it was just the once, but whew, I never did that again.
He's getting the look now.
Hi, my name is Barnabas. It's a pleasure to meet you.
All right. Pleased to meet you as well. And then there's, and it's just a similar but slightly different note of wariness to Alice A. Just because she doesn't even know what this is.
This is Alice A.
Hi.
Francine. And
I have heard many wonderful things about your hospitality, your quasi-patience, and your aim with a frying pan. By my hospitality, I hope you mean your stew and your whiskey, yes. Oh, good. It looks at Darwin. Good, you've at least been doing your job. So, you look like people on a mission, but you also look like people who could probably use a feed. So, we're feeding you first, and then we'll deal with whatever it is that you're looking at me like that for.
Sounds good.
gestures to a largish table that's recently been vacated, picks the rest of the bowls off it. And she is not offering a menu selection. Her menu options are like it or lump it. Although she does ask, ale, whiskey, other.
Ale's
Ale.
I'll have the whiskey, please.
Other.
Ale, please.
We've got milk.
It's fine.
Off she goes. Perception check from y'all.
This is about to get hilarious.
Which is
Natural 20.
7.
Nice.
Oh,
16.
oh Christ. Okay. That's gonna be interesting for Hazel. So hang on just one moment.
8.
I'm getting a lot of feedback from Ava.
Static mostly.
Yeah.
Connection.
Ooh.
Roboting.
Okay, that's the thing that Hazel, with her natural 20, and it would take something that good to notice. But Hazel and Clarity also notice that the gentleman at the Alice really? Okay, so basically Alice notices exactly the same thing Hazel does. But then again, anyway, those three notice that the young gentleman who, when you guys walked in, he gave the general impression of young adventurer, wanderer who just finds everything just endlessly fascinating, is watching you. But that's not really a surprise because you're interesting.
I swear we are magnets for this kind of thing.
Oh, you saw it too, huh? Are you sure it's not just a coincidence?
I'm entirely sure it's not just a coincidence. I'm pretty sure we're magnetizing this sort of thing.
Well, I kind of figured that, well, there's a whole lot of things I figured, but maybe we should try and tone it down in case it is a coincidence.
Coincidence?
There's a certain mythical similarity going on with the interested in us looking dude in the corner.
Darvin, if it helps, deities whose names start with T.
That's not a
not
good one to
helpful.
bring up with us.
Given the attention we...
Who aren't trying to eat us.
That still leaves Talos.
Oh, right, it does.
Look, it could be a coincidence. We're not going to talk about it in a crowded bar anyway, and even if it was, it could look like whatever we wanted. Maybe. Depending. It probably doesn't matter. Let's treat it like it doesn't matter. He's
minding his own business, as just lined up.
Well, to be fair, he's not minding his own business. He's watching us.
Well, yeah.
Well, you know,
Staying
we're
in his
mean, to be fair, we're not exactly nondescript, so
Yeah.
you know.
Although
Hey.
to be fair, he is looking at us like he would really much not mind an invitation over here. If Hazel's right, we might want to let him. Because if Hazel's right, he's gonna follow us anyway.
Offer him some whiskey or ale and say, join in.
Judging from that mug, it's probably ale.
From the look of Darwin, you just gets another.
Well, has ours come out yet?
Yours is actually just coming out, and there's
Okay.
bowls of sort of a creamy fish stew kind of thing, and your various mugs, and mug of milk for you, and with the measurement of Barnabas's size, more of a juice glass than a shot of whiskey.
I was wondering. That's funny.
Yeah, just plunk.
I'm going to take the ale mug I got and sort of half stand up and gesture to him in a sort of come join us fashion.
It's kind of like looking at a Labrador Retriever in human form. He just looks so pleased to be included. Drags his chair over and plunk. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
You are very interesting adventurers. What?
Well, I'd like to think we're at least entertaining.
Shush you.
One way to put it.
Shush you and pet your cat butt. If people are going to be laughing at me, it's going to be on because of something that I said or did that I meant to have it laughed at. I heard one of you yelling about the Cupcake Coterie.
Yeah, that would have been me.
No, to be fair, that was Darwin. It was both of you yet again because it's always the two of you.
I'm the one who specifically said Cupcake Coterie. He just kind of
Said hi.
wailed and hello.
Yes. I have heard some tales.
Happy.
The good ones, I hope.
All tales are good tales.
Yeah, true. I would just place some a little bit in the realms of better or more interesting than the rest.
Well, except for scorpion tales when they are stinging you.
See? That's the overall idea. Some of our tales involve stinging,
Scorpions,
biting.
sandpipers.
Yeah. Oh boy, the sandpiper incident. That also involved the darkness bubble.
And dragons. So many dragons.
So many dragons.
Although, did these stories tell wrong? Because there was tell of Dragonborn, not Mazeborn.
He's the Dragonborn's on the boat. He said he wanted to meditate by himself for a bit.
Ah.
So we're letting him have his time.
Yes, the stories I hear are some chosen by gods for great quests, great things. So why do you go? So why do you go into the dead space that is the barony to our south?
Well, trying to bring some life back into it.
That's quite an achievement.
Yeah.
Do you know how you will do this thing?
Not exactly yet.
We're working on it.
Yeah. That's why the meditation's happening by and large.
Oh. Oh.
I've
Wait,
just been
sorry.
offering.
Who are you? What's your name?
You may call me Brendan.
Brendan?
What brings you here, Brendan?
You're muted.
I've been glancing from Hazel to this person during this
I'm
exchange.
keeping an eye on him, trying to get a read
I'm just
on him.
like, why are you telling him our business like
If
this?
you're
Type of look.
if Ava's trying to get a read on him, give me an insight check.
I'm going to do the same.
21.
Only a 17.
He's not okay. I mean, he's not blurting his entire life story, honestly, but his interest is genuine and non-threatening. He certainly does not want to get in your way. If anything, it's like this is exciting. This is a good thing, and I would if the one thing you're picking up is that he wants to see what you do. That's all. It's not. He's not trying to get a ball in your grill to stop you. He's Labrador Retriever in human form. This is
He's a
neat.
super fan in Skyrim, in Oblivion.
Wouldn't know. Haven't played it, but
Not nearly that awful.
No, that was a bit extreme. But...
Out of curiosity, what brought you to the Frowning Trout?
it seemed a good inn, and there are few enough places that one can get a meal and a bed, given the deadland that is your Star Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I make apology. That perhaps was too abrupt.
no, I was originally from there, which is part of the reason why we're, as Hazel put it, going to try to bring a bit of life back to it.
How did you know we were headed there?
From what I saw, the boat was heading down the stream, and there's only Star Coast from there, unless your little boat, you want to try it on the ocean.
Well, I mean, how did you know that the Frowning Trout was not our destination?
You are adventurers. Why would you stop in a small town when there are doings to the north and doings to the east, and apparently doings to the west?
You know, I don't like to make assumptions.
It was a process of elimination, and if I was wrong, I was sure you would correct me, probably with that same look of aha upon your face that you're wearing now.
Maybe.
Maybe is the yes of the wounded pride.
Oh no.
Maybe.
I'll say staying entirely out of this. To be fair, I suppose her nat 20 actually makes a certain amount of sense, all things considered. And her statement about the whole thing is, I'm guessing that you'd like to come along as an observer when we do this. Oh, could I?
Yes. Yes.
I would not interfere.
Okay.
I mean, not in the life bringing. I doubt I would suit this task, or it me. I could perhaps lend my sword if something else tried to stop you. But I would not interfere with your doings, no.
I mean, I think
Okay.
first should.
Yeah, incidentally for you guys, it's not so much that his accent is slipping exactly, it's just that he sounds like he's from everywhere. It sounds like one of those people who've traveled so much for so long, despite how young he looks, that his accent kind of shifts according to mood, fancy, and what he's talking about. So it's not a deliberate attempt to fool you and, failing miserably. It's just he talks like that. But particularly for you two, Ava and Darwin, because your insight check, it's just some of his speech rhythms change by mood, level of excitability, what he's talking about, because he's picked up so many accents in his life. Darwin's heard a few sea traders who sound like that, and
That's why Darwin doesn't really. I noticed, but it was sort of just, I get it. So it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't register as a possible weird thing.
you are welcome to ask questions of me.
Is your interest educational? Are you like just curiosity?
I'm not what you would call a scholar, but neither am I an adventurer of your type. I suppose I am scholar in that I am, in a way, teacher. And one cannot teach unless one learns. And much is going on now that needs to be learned so that it can be taught.
That's fair. What do you teach? Just current events?
History, and how better to teach history than to see it spread out before you. Also, some theology, occasional bits of martial.
You're a rather fascinating individual.
I have not that much interest. My siblings are far more interesting than me.
I have a bit of a question.
Mm-hmm.
Of the stories, which ones about us have you heard?
Let me think. I'm looking for a representative selection, you see. I've heard a tale of how best to phrase this. Undiplomatic tragedy.
I just raised my glass.
And it's resulting in a far more literal tragedy. And the appeals made to undo it. I heard of the besting of multiple dragons. The seeking of much knowledge, all but living amongst the books. I've heard tales of yet more tragedy in the past, and further things of angering to those of noble blood, and a reckoning to be brought. I have not heard as much about you, but you seem as yet unblooded with them.
That I just joined them.
I hear that gestures to Hazel, your devotion to your god has been noted. I heard, and looks at Remy, I heard that your dance to balance obeisance to two gods rivals your grace with a blade.
Some things you've heard.
And when you know the right sources, you can hear much. And I should speak of what might be an unfortunateness to you, but your offerings and the reasons for them have become quite the romantic ballad. Alisay just yay.
That is not my fault. Although I did pen a little bit of one, but it didn't go much farther than that.
Much farther than that. Clearly, at least one person heard it, picked it up, embellished it, and because it had to have come from somewhere. And it was gonna happen, but I didn't realize it was gonna become the teen girl hit of the decade. Oh boy. Guess what, Ree? You're a romantic hero.
Oh boy.
What can I say? I'm better when I have time to write it down and get the words right.
And to be fair, there's probably been iterations of it.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably
highest
been
order of
sorry, go ahead.
the highest order of the classical story, the romantic hero.
Well, you know, people were gonna sing of your deeds anyway, Ray, so there you go. Maybe not the ones you had in mind.
The night is still young.
You've got Brendan just sitting there like, I amused them. This is good. This is fun. I'm enjoying this.
Although bringing all of this up does remind me, and I should wait until Froseth gets here, but at the same time, and Darvin just raises his mug. To the ones we've lost, to the ones we've saved, and to the ones that we're going to save, and just takes a big swig of it.
Here.
Drink to that.
Brendan stays out of this one because this one isn't for him. He's very much aware he is not a part of your group, but he is enjoying the watching.
Thanks, guys. I just needed to get that said. Being back kind of where it all started, just that was on my mind for a bit.
This is where you began, is it not?
Yeah, actually, this is where we all met for the first time. I was sitting, and I look up, see, right about that seat, looking into my then empty coin purse, bemoaning that I still hadn't gotten paid. When I have, after being thrown out of the Baron of Starkos Manor for feathers.
Feathers.
Yes, feathers.
I heard about the feathers.
It still boggles my mind that it all started with that.
That makes me wonder, did you hear about the crockery?
Glance at Brendan.
I heard that a cleric of light and hope and healing had been barred from this establishment. I did not hear why.
I got a little enthusiastic when declaring that I would be helping Darvin solve his, at the time, lack of funds problem. And in my flailing, the klutziness that has followed me to this day took over and pitched my hammer into the crockery.
I believe it was 5 place settings all told.
Alice H. That's what you told me the last time.
Yeah, we left quickly.
And now you have returned.
Yep.
Hopefully to be leaving the crockery intact.
Yes,
It's the
having
plan.
seen all manner of inn besides this one, ranging from a
The Raven.
very gloriously appointed out in the deserts and nations across the mountains.
And Alice says, just, the Tipsy Pixie. If we ever pass through there again, we're going to have to stay there. I know you guys can all stay in Brass Arrow's territory, but, well, almost all of you, because, Barnabas and Clarity can't, so. Anyway, Tipsy Pixie is great. You would like it. I wonder who Barnabas would fancy, if anyone.
Oh, goodness.
Hmm.
And I just lean back and look at him, give him up and down like...
Marta would be fascinated.
I was just thinking of her. Oh,
and
my
that
goodness.
would be and he would be somebody that she wouldn't have to worry about breaking.
Exactly. Whew.
Very out of that.
Barnabas, the Tipsy Pixie wasn't in, but was also a brothel.
Some of the most remarkable people I've ever met.
Thank you. Don't you be winking at me. That kind of thing is reserved for a very specific person. Now that it's no longer a career option, I think I will stay happily monogamous. Thank you.
And we need to go back to Arcane Inc.
Yes, we do. We again, as I recall, it was extra for scales, feathers, and fur.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
layers.
If we can find something that would suit Barnabas, it's another thing to think about. Magical tattoo parlor.
And I still have fond memories of that tiefling man.
And
so there's more than one reason you have to visit Arcane Inc.
Yeah. And to contrast the gloriousness of the Tipsy Pixie and the other cool places, we also found a few decidedly awful ones, like the Harpy out in Gray's Inn.
Blind Harpy, yes.
Oh,
you guys will never stop whinging about the Blind Harpy, will you?
No!
I don't think that's physically possible.
Oh, that other one we went with the dogs?
Oh,
yeah. The dogs in Cedar Grove.
No, Cedar Grove. Yeah, it's sort of on the edge of the Elven Wild, or getting up to there anyway.
Catastrophic management failure.
Yeah, but to be fair, from what I've heard from these guys, I think you missed the Blind Harpy. Ava, be grateful.
I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah.
From the stories Darvin was telling me, it was bugs, rats, and not the nice kind like Clarity takes out of her bag either. Salt pork and watery stew with an awful lot of turnip.
I refused to stay in there. I was outside. And I was
salt
happy
pork
for
with
it.
more salt than pork.
It's turnip.
Lots and lots of turnip.
And I used to...
The turnip.
And Brendan is just... I make apologies. You amuse wonderfully.
Good.
Thank you.
It's nice to see when epic heroes retain humor sense, even in the face of the less sung of trials and tribulations of the open road. Turnip.
Keeping the fun is how we keep going, I guess.
We try to retain our optimism.
Exactly.
Your job at doing so is admirable. And you see, this is why I like to go, if I can, by firsthand rather than experiencing it. You can hear about the epic romantic heroes all the livelong day, but you cannot see, and it is seldom sung of, how pardons but adorable they are when they blush. To both of you. And Alice is just, thank you.
As a speaking as a bard, I mean, there's the epic tales and such, but the thing that a lot of people forget about these stories is, no matter how epic the tale, the people involved were originally just that, people.
So the people which I hear with enough favor to earn a tiny sliver of their soul imbued with God power.
At which point, Darvin's blushing now. Yes,
I know,
every
I know, but that's the thing. It is what you do with your gifts, but those gifts still are part of you. As much so as insatiable intellect and curiosity, weakness for all things cute. I have heard a comic ballad about small, fluffy, living plush. Do you have it?
I actually do.
Oh,
Hey, hi, butterscotch.
such ingenuity. Hello. Looks up at Ava in a kind of a improbable bend, but plush. So looking at, am I friendly to him? Am I friendly to him? Is he a friend? Is he a friend? Is he a friend? And it just paddles his paws in Brenda's general direction. Just, hello.
She reaches out so you can
Scritch, 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 scritch. The tail just going whapping Ava in the wrists. I will stop to spare your wrists the tickling. But yes, see, you do have some of the comic ballads. It is just ones that make you a different kind of inspirational. Like as to how rabbits are inspirational.
All glory to the genius who came up with that line.
the ending you haven't heard of.
And if I recall, you also started one hell of a rumor on the way in and past that.
Yes, quick blades, quicker wit.
Well, and there was the I believe the turn of phrase I used recently was the interaction with the one who is so full of shit his horn should have been brown.
Ah, boy.
Ah, yes, Heseltine.
Yes.
I have met this one.
Everyone knows him.
Oh, you have? My condolences.
I'll say, surgery. Hang on. Can you say a horn should have been brown? Can you describe this individual?
And I will proceed to do exactly that.
Okay, so purple tiefling. Really big on bright colors.
Very much so, yes.
Really red coat.
Too much coat.
And just an ego the size of, well, an ego as big as the coat was red, frankly.
To say nothing of the things he tried to ask Lyra for.
Istus has so much to answer for. I met him once. If it's the same person. I didn't ask for his name, because he came up with the crappiest pickup line. And to be fair, I had probably the best response. His question was, did it hurt? Did what hurt? When you fell from the celestial plane. I hadn't. I see.
Wow.
I wasn't showing these at the time. But I wasn't anywhere where the people were gonna see me because I didn't want to freak him out. And I thought, if I'm ever gonna do it, now is the time. So when he asked if it hurt when I fell from the celestial plane, I just boofed the wings and said no. Also, that is the cheesiest pickup line I have ever heard. You are a bard. Get you some better material. And then I left.
I am glad you broke his brain.
Unfortunately, it seems like he bounced back.
And then tried again in a town fair where other better bards were.
At least he's got good taste.
And more importantly, where clarity was. And wow.
Yeah, to be fair, that one I've heard about.
Really?
They tell stories of you often. Brendan is to be fair, even I've heard of this one. It's another one of those comic ballads.
Oh.
Is now doing the rounds, and I think that Heseltine perhaps will have even worse luck than he has had previously.
Did you get the part where he didn't know what my hair color was, even though he was looking straight at it?
Which is how the world at large discovered that the reason that he wears his colors as bright as he does is that he's colorblind.
Oh. Well, that's kind of sad.
That would explain it.
So it is a good thing to consider all the potential avenues in that sort of situation, but his behavior was, in all frankness, from the sounds, abominable.
I'm just staring at Clarity at this point. I freaking love you! You are amazing! You completely broke a massive asshat!
His yes, abominable is definitely a word for it. I don't know. I don't think I actually used that word only because I couldn't come up with a rhyme for it. I did try atrocious for a while, and that didn't work either. Anyway,
that is when you try for almost rhymes. As long as it sounds close enough and the rhythm remains the same.
True. At that point in my composition, I was a bit more strict. Yes, that's a good point.
I
could go back and, well, I don't suppose I can go back and revise, but
other bards have done so for you.
Fair enough.
That is what happens. They go out there and people do their own variations upon. And that is how these things change and grow. And which actually leads me to ask, is it true that the captain, what caused your armored friend here, did they truly just crumble to dust?
Yep.
Yeah,
that was a thing.
But was it from the force of your sword blow?
Unfortunately, not exactly.
And not from your hammer? Because I've heard it from your hammer, too, looking at Hazel.
No. He did. The thing he was wearing came off, and he went from person to pile of ashes.
Huh.
If I recall, Froseth actually had managed to grab a hold of him, wresting the amulet in question off of his neck, and the next moment he was holding the amulet and not much else, and brushing some of him off. It was a sight.
Because it went from because it wasn't straight to dust. It was a lot of shriveling and then dust.
Yes, but in the process.
So the one where the monk crushed him is sort of true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because technically he's right, because when he was crumpling, it really was because he's still trying to grapple, and for that second, it's no, wait, he's squirming. No, he's not squirming, and now he's crumbling. Oh, crap.
Yeah, exactly. Hence the brushing him off after, like, oh god, he's on me. Ah!
So yes, you are more tail-worthy perhaps than you might notice in smaller places, the likes of these.
It's nice to know that. It's nice to know that. It's nice to know that we're bringing hope, or at the very least, some laughter.
Yes. Is it true that you created a particular...
The Adventurer's Abomination? Yes. Yes, that was me.
Some of the tales said that you tried bits of every bit of ice cream in that place.
Not true. Not completely inaccurate. I deliberately chose the 3 that sounded the most interesting.
Without thought as to how they matched, I take it.
They did not. They did not match. They were interesting. Individually, they were wonderful. It was a combination of the flavors and the speed. It was not my wisest moment, but to find so many people getting such enjoyment out of that, it's worth it in the end.
You ate so fast it tried to escape.
It sounds as though it succeeded to escape.
It did, yes.
And brought the rest of his dinner along for the ride.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a night.
Well,
I'm not the only one that's done that. Similar things.
While you guys have been talking, your stool bowls have been cleared away, and what is set in front of each of you is a cupcake.
That will, like, in mid-sentence, Darvin just...
Since I've scooched over to Clarity, Clarity is at this point probably feeling the vibration of a hazel squeeze starting. It's just sort of a little bit of a rattle.
Easy there. Easy. Easy.
Hand over the mouth. It's the only way to stop eardrums being...
And I've got hypersonic.
Yeah, see? Just put hand over her mouth, please. I'm not reaching across the table for that. And so in mid is just move. You can't eat it if she's doing that. So stop the squee.
There's less squee and more just total silence as my face has transcended tomato and is now approaching beet.
Okay, maybe you might want to. I think actual skin contact with her lips is too much for her right now.
Oh, all right.
Eat your cupcake, Hazel.
Downwards.
Or be on the floor, whatever.
You're now contending with a hazel puddle. Well, she is mush.
Where's Aaron with that calm emotion thing that he did? At this point, I'm not sure I'd minded it in all of us.
I think it is less that she needs to calm them. I think it is that she needs to learn how to properly process them.
That's probably true too.
Anyway.
So Barnabas, this is why we're called the Cupcake Coterie, by the way.
I see.
Her cupcakes, in fact.
I see.
Her cupcakes, Clarity's idea, if Darvin tells it true.
Not sure, actually.
It was actually. I have looked into it, and you. I mentioned it kind of as a joke, and Clarity picked it up and ran with it, and there we are, 2 years later. So yeah, you.
There are worse names. Trust me, there are worse names.
Probably, but it's more that they're filling you in on the history of
us.
It's all a part of being them.
Like I've said before, and probably will continue to say for some time, welcome to the family.
Yeah, he tends to say it on a twice weekly basis. Minimum.
Give or take. Yeah, give or take.
I've had it at least 6 times since I came back.
Yeah, but that's because he's sort of he needs to catch up on the couple of months you've missed.
I got it.
There you
go.
Ends up getting a little chocolate on his fingers at that.
Yeah, I get it less, but that would probably only be because I'm pretty sure nothing says welcome to the family like technically impossible returns from the dead.
Yeah, Hazel pretty much gave all the welcome to the families that need to be given at that point.
Hazel?
Well, Hazel and Remy and or Aaron and yes.
from Alice A. Flitty and me.
And yes, Flitty and Flitty.
Oh, is this the courageous fairy dragon?
Flitty, would you like to say hello?
Poop. Out comes Flitty. And there is a short conversation in Sylvan, which a couple of you do largely understand. It's just, hello to you, little fairy dragon. Someone else who can talk to me. Yay! I have picked up languages. They are apparently treating you well enough. Oh, more than. That's why I stay with them. That and they need somebody to keep them out of trouble. Less so now because they have the singy, screamy lady. But I still help.
Darwin chuckles at the description.
I don't want to know.
It was complimentary.
I'm sure. But, and I help be the common sense, and I still help being the cute, even though the arrow lady, the Ava lady, has her cute little poofy thing. But the poofy thing doesn't have wings. I have wings. Fluts them out. So I can be a whole different kind of cute. You fit in wonderfully. Thank you. Pet, pet, pet. It goes back into the bag. The food's in here. Okay.
If I'm sitting next to Alice, I'm going to take a little piece of my cupcake and drop it into the bag for Flitty.
You just hear her quietly. Yay! No. That in Draconic, because he knows that Ava can speak Draconic, so yay, thank you. No.
I respond in Draconic. Thanks, you're welcome.
Oh, that is. I have learned so much of you. This is thank you.
Our pleasure, I guess.
Is that lonely than sitting in the corner table by myself?
By a pretty wide margin, I would hope.
Well, yes, either way. Either way, I have company, but this company is charming and entertaining and very funny. And occasionally a puddle on the floor.
Speaking of, would you like to get back in your chair now?
Yeah, I can talk while slumped, but this is awkward. Someone help!
Come on.
It's like, Hazel, if you don't get up, I'm going to eat your cupcake.
More incentive, yes! And with some help, I'm finally prying myself out of the sort of like half slid off the chair position I was in.
There you go. Just shush and eat your cupcake.
Yes.
Ah, yes, I see what your butterfly winged friend meant about the common sense.
Mm-hmm.
So did you only just to stop for meals and drinks and puddle making?
We did have a spot of business to attend to here as well, on our way.
Just something that's probably best done once the place is a little.
Well, to be fair,
less
the rest of the halflings have all gone about their chores. You guys are the last ones left in here.
Oh.
Which I think is closing out about now.
Huh. I didn't realize how... Okay.
We were talking.
Yeah.
He did
having fun.
Yes, and time flies, and so do people. Not literally. Halflings do not have wings.
Well, no, halflings don't. Not usually.
Can anyone hear me? I just lost all sound.
No, we hear you fine. There have been a couple of moments of straight up quiet, so...
Shit.
Can you hear us?
Apparently
not.
Apparently no, he cannot hear us. So, if somebody can type on Discord to him...
I think I got to restart Discord.
Yeah, we will take our break now, and be back in a few minutes when he's sorted out, so...
I remember back when we were just traveling normally, and the ghasts happened.
I'm gonna hit this thing because I am so done with it.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
I am just going straight two-handed overhand to try to turn this to make this thing as flat as possible. Just from standing to pancake.
God, no.
Oh
God, squish! Oh God, squish!
You're doing the let the little kid have its tantrum thing when all of a sudden, within an inch of your fingers comes the hammer. Wham! It doesn't completely flatten the thing, but legs break, its vertebrae, its cervical vertebrae compress, its skull flattens, and there is this boom noise. That it doesn't do any damage, but it kind of hurts your ears a little bit. And this thing sort of crumples into this wet, slightly broken heap, and all three of you are liberally splattered with gas bits, and they smell worse than the undamaged thing did.
Hazel, you owe me a new wardrobe.
Yeah, Hazel has managed to keep out of the splashback, funnily enough.
Could you have said something? Anything.
Bonus action, I'm wiping some of it off and flinging it at Hazel.
You watch as Darvid basically scrapes up this thing. You're pretty sure his brain, it's got some chunk of skull and scalp still attached to it, flings it at Hazel, and it lands right in her face.
I'm going to turn around and vomit.
This camp is going to smell wonderful.
I still feel bad about the mouth open part. Sorry about that.
Remind me, ghasts are the ones that smell so bad they literally cripple you.
Yeah, that's a smell you do not forget.
We've had some interesting encounters with stuff back when we were still starting out.
What do you mean back when we were still starting out? You could have just ended that at interesting encounters.
Exactly.
No, thank you, back when we were still starting out. We still get them now, but I mean, like, the stuff we got into fights with back then, the cockatrices, just as one example.
Well, I'm not sure if that's so much what you're talking about when you mean first starting out, but I'm curious now. Furseth, what was your most interesting encounter?
Let's see. I'm thinking the plants where half of our group got hit by a thunder wave.
I was trying to avoid that one, but sure.
Ah, yes.
Sorry.
The vine blights. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually.
I'm going to turn around, and in between the two of those, thunder wave.
So either way,
I didn't want to. Well, I was trying to avoid hitting party.
That is not going to happen in any of those situations. If you want to hit anything, you're gonna hit one of the party.
At least.
Nope,
Oh my god.
5.
3.
This is gonna hurt.
If you knock me out, you just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that made Darvin so.
I think I just killed the party.
That made the Constitution save, but both of the creatures.
Oh god, damn it!
Nice shot, Darvin. Oh, yeah, this is going to suck.
15.
Ah!
Oh.
Okay. So basically, Nora turns around at this boom, sees Furseth and Clarity go flying, sees Hazel go flying, and not get up.
Really, Darvin?
Yeah, Clarity, what about you?
I mean, if we're not mentioning that one,
Well, we've already mentioned that one, so bring up a different
right.
one.
There was that Nothic that we.
Oh god!
The thing in the basement. Why was that in the basement?
I don't
Came
know.
up out of the hole.
Yeah.
Didn't you? Yeah,
It knew things.
you did say something about a hole in a hole to the Underdark down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You knew things just looking at you. It was creepy and unsettling.
And Hazel has the ghosts. Darvin, what about you?
Oh, that's easy. The cockatrices, even though I don't really remember much of that fight because I spent most of it, turned to stone.
Fresh hell are those?
It's relatively large for a demon chicken, but it's some kind of demon chicken. And yes, Sigwald knows what these are. These are cockatrices, and there are 10 of them.
Oh. Blasphemy chicken!
It's like, I don't want to turn to stone. I don't want to turn to stone. I really don't want to turn to stone. And I'm like,
whips its head around with Hazel's blood dripping from its beak and staring at her. It's like.
And I will throw another dagger at its face.
Yeah, you.
Rooted.
Yeah, and there's a second one.
So I'm stoned.
Yeah, Darvin is
I'm dead.
Currently a statue.
Yep.
Oh wow, that actually hits. Something has actually managed to fucking hit Remy. As this thing manages to get its beak into the bit of joint armor behind the knee.
Oh! 5.
Can't believe we're gonna lose to a bunch of little chicken lizards.
Oh, is this when we keep it?
Ava, what about you?
Probably the Nerul Temple.
I mean, less encounter. Well, I guess it counts as an encounter, but it certainly wasn't something to kill.
The hands.
Oh, that, yeah.
Oh, the wall.
Yeah, that was what appear to be undead hands burst from the walls and reach out for Remy, Darvin, who manages to dodge, Ava, and Nye, and do begin trying to throttle the life out of all of
So
them.
that they're grabbing us by the throat.
And everywhere else.
Wait, did Hazel get grabbed?
No, Hazel did not get grabbed. Nothing is reaching for Hazel. Nothing is
Okay.
reaching for Froseth, and nothing is reaching for Alice.
Okay, weird. I'm gonna try.
Froseth, you said you died!
What?
Yes.
Hazel, did you die?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really hate to say this, but let them!
What? No.
No, trust me!
I'm jumping into there. I'm gonna jump against the wall.
They grab hold and start throttling.
Why do we need to do that?
We're dealing with a god of death.
Nye is the first one to pass out. Just hyperventilate and loss of oxygen. As soon as he goes limp, they let him go, and he's breathing. Just, it stopped for a second, and that was it. So
I close my eyes, squint, like clenching my fist, and I'm back into the...
It's really scary, but eventually Darvin and Ava pass out, are dropped, have not lost hit points, but there was a scary second there. Actually, it's Ree's turn, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
About to say.
Correction.
What are those cactus things in
Oh,
the desert?
God, yeah.
Oh, Lord. It was like the plant thing all over again.
Well, it was. Darvin takes a needle in the neck and just
Stands there. Just.
mouth open,
Yeah.
like he's trying to scream, but he can't even quite get he can't even get his lungs to work well enough, because this isn't just being stunned, this is being in so much pain you can't move.
Yeah, Remy's down then.
Oh my god! So Remy gets hit and falls over. Stop killing my party! Froseth, save their poor asses.
I think this is probably the best time to finally use one charge in that Steel Wind Strike tattoo.
Yes!
Oh god!
As Froseth flexes his shoulders, and all of a sudden he's this silver whirlwind blur. As he finishes up, like, of the ones he hit, more than half have fallen, just chopped into salad. Nah, it's now your go.
Hard act to follow.
Good job, Frozen.
Well, it was a plant thing all over again. It was just a different plant thing from the sounds of things.
And it wasn't someone on our end accidentally causing something to go wrong. Just those things had really nasty paralytic. Ow!
Yeah.
Like, okay, vine blights, they'll just grab you, strangle. These things were throwing needles!
Needles covered in a poison that hurts so bad it literally locks all your muscles up. This for Barnabas's benefit, predominantly.
Almaver is just why.
The wastes are interesting.
At least one thing ate Darvin and me.
And Aaron.
I fixed that!
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. Smeagol, I don't know if you heard. Miniature Sarlacc.
Yanks you in and swallows you. You are You are
damage noted.
You are
elf yells.
Yeah.
I'll get behind LSA.
What?
I'm crazy, not stupid.
I get to say it now. I would like to rage. She cleaves 2 of its tentacles clean off. And it spits the unconscious form of Hazel out. So Hazel sees this faint, icy, radiant glow of this pretty blonde, sort of kneeling with a hand on her chest, going, "Get the fuck up!" She manages to bring the blade down. Darvin can actually start to see, as he sees it, come within about a centimeter of nicking his nose, carving through 2 tentacles deep into the main body. And he can see the frost spreading out from the wound as it thrashes one more time and the tentacles just thump. Okay! Lesson number 1, be careful of the sand.
Although speaking of Aaron, his poor experience as a sandpiper will never not make me chuckle. I feel so bad for that fact, but oh my goodness.
Nye turns into a sandpiper.
A what now? A bird? The little birds?
Yeah, the little beach runner bird, sandpiper.
Oh, sweet Paylor, it's the fairies all over again!
This is a stunning strike, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I was wondering when you were gonna bring that one out!
I forgot it. DC is 14.
Prepare for doink!
But it is stunned, and let me figure out how we calculate falling damage.
Wait, what?
I'm 15 feet up in the air, and I'm about to turn back into an elf, aren't I?
You got
oh, god damn it! That's actually you're about to die instantly.
It's only 15.
I'm going to
feet.
land
It
in
can't
sand.
Be that bad.
Well,
don't elves always land on their feet?
That's
cats.
I did also particularly like. I have 2 words for you, Mr. Dragon. Eldritch Blast.
Yes. Yeah.
The Cupcake Coterie have apparently awoken a Dracolich. A blue Dracolich, which is currently looking at Nye. I have you to thank for this.
You're welcome. Wow.
So, if you're gonna fuck around with this country, you probably gotta deal with me first.
I'm kind of sworn to defend mortal life in general, so...
You are going to try to kill me. Dude, already dead.
Oh my god! What is even happening right now? Why are you melting off? It's what you do.
Dude, we didn't wake it up. Okay. He looks at you all. I am giving you one last chance to turn around and walk away.
Not budging.
No, not gonna happen.
No one else is moving. I'm just basically standing stock still because whatever they do, I have to react to.
If I have 2 words for you, Mr. Dragon. Eldritch Blast.
Speaking of pointing and looking at things, there was that stupid eyeball.
We greet you.
All of us?
All of you.
Hi.
What brings you to our abode?
box we were sent to retrieve?
We are sorry. We cannot let you do that.
Why? Just why?
Because then we would be unable to do our duty. This is our duty. You cannot ask us to forsake our duty.
Oh boy.
If you attempt to enter this room, we must fight you. We would prefer not to fight you. You do not look very tasty.
No!
Is it only if we enter the room?
If you enter this room or take anything within it.
If I personally take something from it?
You are clever, little demonling, but you will not find a loophole to this. You have clearly stated intent to steal from us, and now we must do battle. And I would like you all to roll initiative.
Oh well.
It's a good try.
And before that, the evil rug.
Oh.
Yeah, the rug. Yeah.
I got smothered in that thing.
The rug that you have just stepped on, which looked like a perfectly normal rug, rises up and tries to essentially wrap itself around you.
Of course it does.
Froseth manages to sink his claws into the edge of the rug and yanks. And essentially, you know, in the cartoons, what you get, you yank the
spin,
and the person inside. It's not that much spinning. It's just like a 1.5 turn pirouette.
Like tumble.
I am going to firebolt it in the proverbial face.
Good God, this thing flares more than Hazel.
25.
Holy shit snacks.
How do you want to do this? Because there is no way that...
I just take it and from one end to the other, just slice it all the way.
And Flitty, from within the Flitty bag that Alice carries around, then there was the man made of the black sludge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I made it, Giggly. Flitty takes off from Sigwell's hat, flies directly into this thing's face.
Flitty, what are you doing?
And blows this puff of pinkish, sparkly smoke breath in its face. Ooh. At which point, it sort of stands there and it's actually blinking at what looks like dazed confusion.
Okay.
This is euphoria breath.
What?
I thought it was a thing! You just... Wow!
In fact... oh, this is actually even better. It blinks in dazed confusion for a minute, and then, for reasons not entirely clear to anybody, starts sort of ambling towards Remy, at least in that general direction. At which point, Froseth and Darvin both
get attacks of opportunity.
Sometimes my dice liking me actually works in your favor.
So you just made a shade trip balls.
Yeah, essentially. I was like, you just blew LSD into its face.
I am cheering Flitty on.
It was amazing, and when I got turned into one temporarily.
By
I
illusionary
turned you into a zombie thing.
That's right. I'm sorry, Flitty. But either way, literally saved my life.
Flitty at this particular point is sort of flying around in circles, trying to decide what to do. At which point, he sort of looks over at Darvin and is sort of going, "Okay, he shouldn't be allowed to hit you anymore. Hang on." It turns around and to first in Sylvan, then in Draconic, "I'ma make him look like one of the dead things. Don't hit him!" At which point, fairy dust sprinkles from Flitty's wings, and Flitty casts Major Image. And yeah, to the rest of you, Darvin looks like one of the barnacle zombies. Where Darvin was standing looks, smells, everything. Major Image is kind of impressive.
Okay. Your image is scary as fuck.
And the huge thing has been looming over, so goes, and then turns around to the rest of you because it's not very bright.
That's good. Stupid. That's good.
No
one ever expects that small flappy thing to proceed to completely turn a fight inside out and backwards.
Helpful.
Therefore, Flitty's win.
And we're back. I have no idea how to reflect the elongated break time that we have just been obliged to sit through. Maybe I'll come up with some kind of clip show or something to indicate that we spent far longer than usual dealing with technical difficulties, router and program restarts, pixelation nonsense, and demanding cats.
It wasn't Pim Pim this time.
I'm not only talking about your cats either. I mean, let's face it, all groups have their own problems. When it's in person, it's somebody turns up late, somebody refuses to get off their phone. The great fun I had was when we used to do weekly 7th C, they refused to order anything other than pizza for my lactose intolerant ass. And so I wound up having to subsist on side salad and spicy wings. Yay. Anyway, yes, the Cupcake Coterie has spent a lovely meal of fish stew, cupcakes, and good ale, good milk, and Barnabas, the whiskey at this place, probably the best you've ever had. It's superlative whiskey.
Awesome.
Just so that you are aware. And not overly expensive either. Y'all are looking at 2 silver total for meals and drinks. At least the first drink, you'll be charged more for others afterwards, but you know, it's a meal and a drink combo. It's done in pubs everywhere. Why not in D&D Fantasyland too? And so, yeah, the inn is now largely empty beyond, you know, you guys, Brendan and Francine, who's doing the cleanup, looking at you all kind of over the shoulder in that passing the time of day, going, "Lovely bunch. You can set a timepiece by them, but kind of miss the all hours of city living, but at least I'm still going." That's an expectant silence.
Can I
before I drag up another rock and join you, anyone fancy a refill? And I'll say is just I'll have a smaller knock than he did of that whiskey because it smells great.
Yeah, same.
I'll take a
I'm just what Ava said.
Yeah, it's
I will absolutely take more of this fantastic whiskey.
it's silver for your portion of the whiskey, 5 coppers for the shorter human-sized pours, 2 for ale, and like 1 for the milk. And she passes stuff out. Does turn around to Clarity, say, "If milk's not to your fancy, I do have tea for 2 silver a mug."
Oh, tea would be great.
It just doesn't go very well with dinner. Is the main thing. Not the dinners I do anyway. It comes out, brings drinks, takes payment, sits down with her own shot of whiskey and goes, "All right. Let's start with, is it good news or bad news?"
It's good news. Oh, well, yes, good news.
All right. Although you sound a little unsure.
Well, it's not bad news.
All right.
We're going to be...
You're breaking up again, Marion, and Frozen.
We're going to be trying... Oh. We're about to attempt to restore life to Star Coast. Part of that is...
No. Can we go back to restoring life to Star Coast?
Yeah.
Let's not just brush that off as if it's nothing. Let's take this like stepping stones across a river, shall we?
That is a good. That's a good plan. That'll let things get explained in a way that
he's got it. He's just doing the. I'm a bard. I'm performing for an audience that I don't really care if they can ask questions, and he needs to stop it now.
Yes. Yes, Mom.
Carry on.
Well, we have. Okay, we're not totally sure of the hows. That's part of the reason why.
Alice just pipes up. Not all of the hows, anyway. We have some essential details, but the actual mechanism is what we're not sure about yet.
That's part of the reason Froseth is, well, meditating and taking some time to try to get a bit more clarity.
Glances over at Clarity.
Sorry. Didn't. Yeah. Anyway, as part of that, however, one of the things that we do know is that Star Coast will literally have to be tied to someone. I'm not really sure how to put it. We're someone needs to be in charge of Star Coast. And, well, I'm not in a position to be able to do it myself, nor do I particularly want to. And, well, the person best qualified in a number of ways is, well, you. And
looks around the table and then turns around to Remy. You're the more plain speaking one, if memory serves me. Can you translate that last bit into not bard?
We're performing a ritual that will create a new heart of the Star Coast
and the hearts of the various regions are bound to the ruling families.
Got that bit? It's that very last bit. The one that involves me specifically. Is he saying what I think he's saying?
The heart would be bound to you as the new ruler of Starcoast.
Is that, yeah, see, that's the bit. That's the bit he was dancing around and you've hit a bit more I'm sorry, you... What?
Hazel, do you have the paperwork, or does
Steph has it.
Oh,
I will go and get it. I can probably get it off him without disturbing his meditation, and at least I know what to ask the bag of holding for. Hang on. Alice, you should have Francine, okay? I'm common as muck!
That's why we asked the king to ennoble you.
What the asshole with the taxes? What? She doesn't know.
No, not the king you're thinking. The rightful one. We found out that we found out who it actually was supposed to be, and it's on the rightful king's authority rather than the jackass and Black Crown.
You don't.
Baron Langahan, specifically.
Yes. The person currently in Black Crown is not supposed to be the one in Black Crown. As a matter of not too fine a point on it, the person currently sitting at Black Crown is not in fact a person.
What?
We've already dealt with a number of dragons, and we're dealing with more.
What?
Like I said, there's a background here involved, and
most I heard about dragons is rumors of a really big blue somewhere in that cliff region.
We found evidence that one is definitely there, as are others on this side of the continent.
Including the us hat who's wearing the crown as well as the us hat, yes. Alright, and you all thought that the best option for ruling Starcoast was me.
You're kind of amazing.
I'm a bar owner.
Oh, this
the
is
most badass bar owner we know.
You deal with supplies, you deal with commerce, you deal with taking care of the people, even if only the ones that come in here. You are...
I chase out drunkards with a frying pan.
I wouldn't say common. I would say you're one of the most sensible and...
Alice comes in with the rolled up bit of parchment. I think the words you're looking for are salt of the earth.
Thank you. And I can think of no other person who cares about Starcoast as much as you.
Beyond maybe the person who's doing some fairly epic sounding things to bring it back.
And I'm not in a position to lead it. I don't have it in me to do that. And I strongly think you do. When the fog rolled in and everything went sideways, you stepped up quick and saw to the people that you could.
Well, what else am I going to do? They're my customers and my folks.
My point. Starcoast will be your folks again.
Gonna be an awful lot more.
And you're not going to be doing this alone. I mean, you will have full support of the rightful king of Baronsphere. And, you know, I'm not in a position to be able to lead, but I'll sure damn well make sure that do everything I can to help you get whatever assistance you might need, be it people, be it supplies, be it whatever. I will spread the word far and wide.
I think the main thing, because this is one of the issues we've had, is that my lord Arshat kind of did a pretty unfortunate crackdown on imports coming in from Equitas. We got some, but usually the duties on them and were pretty heavy, and about half of it, if they found it, were cold contraband. And if it weren't for the folks in the Undercity, it's not even an Undercity anymore. If it hadn't been for the folks in the Undercity, we'd never have had anything from the country next door.
Which
trying to re-establish some line of trade with that lot would probably actually, because that's the thing, you can make the heart live, but if your heart's beating, how long is your heart gonna keep beating if you're not feeding everything else?
And that is exactly the type of thinking and the line of thinking. I mean, yes, I've been thinking about that myself, but that is exactly the point. You think of these things, you know of these things, you've already dealt with it, yes, in terms of just this place, but you can expand that to, and that's one of the things we're working on doing. I mean, the end goal is to eliminate the dragons, put the rightful king on the throne, and then open trade,
or at least get trade happening more consistently as we push them out.
Yeah, if we're going to build Star Coast back up again, we're never entirely out of fishing season, but it's more the trying to get the old seafarers back in, as many of them as have left, because it was only the city that really got the worst of it. Everybody else just migrated out.
Well, and again, that's, like I say, we can get the word out. We're keeping in mind a few days after tomorrow, but we're also trying to concentrate more on tomorrow rather than a week out.
You can afford that. You're adventurers. You're asking me to look at something, and I have to look at not only tomorrow, not only next week, but how my actions tomorrow will inform what I have to do next week.
Right. Well, what I mean is we can get the word out to start getting people to, well, at least take a look, and then once they get here.
Well, I suppose there's also those little hearth buggers. They seem surprised that somebody will listen.
And that's and again, of qualities that why we thought of you.
Well, I don't know how halflings need to run their settlements. I was just like, okay, I need space for my still. Perfectly happy for you to set up, but I'm here to keep people from going into dead space and explain to them why they don't wanna. So I'm not helping a case for I don't entirely think I am nobility, am I?
No, you're not really. Kind of proving our points.
I was going to say that such are the merits of competence, but I don't know what that says about you lot.
I am becoming inordinately aware of my own limitations. And at the same time, we do have concerns greater than Star Coast itself. We are working...
We kind of have been failing upwards so far.
I wouldn't say failing, but...
Alice, it's like, sorry, I see your point, and it's not been entirely failing, but the things that happened in and around Alzor High, that was a lot of failing with a big upwards.
Fair.
Depending on your perspective on the uptick, I guess. I personally consider it a pretty big uptick, all things considered.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. Anyway,
Alice turns around to Francine and just goes, "Look, I've seen him talk to leaders. You don't want him doing it on a larger scale than he has to. They don't want him to talk to leaders anymore either. And you definitely don't want me to do it, because if they're giving me bullshit, I will give it back." "Well, I'm gonna do that too." "Yeah, but you're gonna do it with a view to compromise. I'm just gonna do it to shut them up because I don't rule anything. You rule this place. And if you take this, you just rule a bigger place, like Darwin was saying." It sort of ticks to eyes to each of you in turn, just sort of like, what, really?
Well, I mean, a few months ago, was when we last saw you, yeah? And, I mean, look at this place compared to what it was when we left it. Look at what you've accomplished in such a short amount of time. And you've had to uproot your life from Star Coast, and you came here, and you're already, it's like you've always been here. You're ruling already. It's just, on a grander scale.
It's kind of like you're running this inn and this township essentially, and if you were and getting ennobled just means you're doing the exact same thing. Just now, the inn is Star Coast, the city, and the township is the rest of the barony.
Honestly, it just boils down to you are in fact the most qualified and the most deserving, and just there is no one else that could do this as well as you.
I'm not throwing fancy balls when I'm having someone de-fancify that big brick pile on the coast.
And
to be fair, you guys know it already needs renovation because it's kind of missing a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan. Francine, there's no back wall anymore to that whole building.
What did you do?
We didn't do that. It was the thing that...
It's a fair question. Look at you.
Fair. No, but it was the thing that was summoned up, not by us, to try to kill us at the time. And it was actually what the original heart had been crammed into. It was a thing out of nightmares.
The best way to describe it was it had eaten the heart and then came to kill us.
Yeah, that's a very succinct way to put it.
Thing is, Francine, they were there when Starghost fell, for lack of a better word.
Technically, so was I.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's determined for it to be back up to its best, at its best and to its full potential, it's them. And if they believe you're the person, you can believe that they.
Oh, I have. Okay. Keep in mind that my first impression of them was Babby adventurers.
Well, I suppose they were at the time.
It was this one pointing at Hazel. rushing off into an alley, if memory serves me.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly getting themselves arrested at least once. I had to forestall that by smacking a guardsman across the back of the head with my frying pan. That's when I sent him into the Undercity. You missed all this. You armored individuals over there. Be grateful. I think the face palming would have been fairly epic.
And I'm just nodding along with just saying in agreement.
But again, that's more evidence that you look out for the people.
You don't have to keep talking me round on it. At the end of the day, the decision's mine, no matter what anyone thinks about it. Because I'm sure that if anybody could find an argument for Darwin taking up blood right, he'd turn it down no matter how compelling the evidence was.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the choice has got to be mine. But it needs doing, and if there's one thing I've been doing more or less my whole life, it's what needs doing. So this needs to happen, fine. I don't know what's going to happen with heirs or whatnot. I suppose I'll pick one if I can find anybody else I'd actually trust to run a piss up in this place, never mind an actual barony. Alice sort of sets the writ of ennoblement down in front of her and goes, okay, the one thing that we haven't mentioned, because you seem like a person who very much appreciates the practicalities. Do you have a box? What? We need a locally sourced driftwood box, because once we have the heart, unless we want to stuff it into you, at which point it would probably only live as long as you did, we need a place to put it. And it should be like the one that got muckified. So, locally sourced driftwood box, preferably with the crest of the barony on it. Well, I've got my old jewelry box. It's a fairly common, basic style. It's not like we're importing the fancy woods from Cedar Grove.
Sounds appropriate.
That
sounds perfect.
Yes.
Hang on a second. I may take a minute to put this someplace safe, I suppose, and then internalize this before I bring you down the box. Excuse me.
Next time.
Off she goes. Alice sits back down. Well, that went well. You're doing better, Darwin. It's not. I'm not trying to judge. I'm actually trying to be good. You're taking it about how I intended. So stop laughing at me, you guys.
No, sorry.
No, not you. You weren't laughing. You looked
Oh.
suitably moved. You were fine. It's just these two sniggering. I'm not sure which one of us they were sniggering at, but either way, it's gonna stop. Thank you.
I'm still kind of. This is where it all started, and clarity flagging up. It really hasn't been all that long, and yet things are so much different, and we are so much different, and we have so much farther to go. But holy crap, we've come so far. We're going to do this. We are really going to do this.
The universe decided to put our faces through several window panes worth of trials.
Darwin looks over at Remy and just... Remy, just thank you.
And Brendan, who everybody's more or less forgotten about at this point, is going, I am sorry, but if I may make bold as to ask, why this seems important, this thanking?
I'm not responding. I'm leaving that up to Remy.
Alice sort of leans in Remy's general direction and goes, just tell him. Seriously.
Darwin has a way with words, in that way can be a bit circular, but it did help her prepare herself, I think, for when I kind of spatted out the essential points. So
That's not what he's Remy's not that bad. He was thanking Remy for the request she made of Ziriel.
Oh, that went way over my head.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, that's why I thought, wait a minute. Okay, no, that's not Noms's I'm trying to evade the issue face. That's Noms's.
Thank you for contributing to the conversation.
No, that very when Ethan or Darvin uses that very emphatic usually means something deeper than that. So no, it's the kind of thing that and said in the kind of way that Darvin has said it to Remy on a number of occasions. And yes, it's about having petitioned Ziriel for the power to do this. And that's why Alice is going, don't do your usual thing, just tell him. Him you can
Remy
tell.
Nods very solemnly to Darvin and then looks to the other guy.
Brendan.
When I, for lack of a better term, met an Archon of Pelor and came into a pact with him, part of what we discussed was a way to restore the Star Coast and create a new heart to replace the one that had been corrupted and destroyed. And I had no idea that was possible, but the opportunity to heal the land is just almost beyond measure.
And thus your patron petitioned to make this a possible thing. You are forge and craftsman all in one. You are. Some of you, not all of you. But yes, I am happy to stand as guard while this reforging perhaps takes place. I would very much like to be witness to this.
Just a forewarning, we are expecting someone or something to try to interrupt it.
Of course you are. You are heroes.
Exactly.
Possibly interrupt, although not for nothing, Remy. I think it's more likely that once we succeed, then, well, it's still new and exceedingly vulnerable. Probably try to take it back
or that
take it away. So
before it can be given to your new Baroness.
Yes. So I think that's more likely. I do want to say it seems fitting to have a witness, as it were. So thank you.
It's doing that Labrador Retriever. And
I mean, if anything's going to be a historic moment, this is.
Oh yes,
exactly.
I am not Bard. I will have to leave this, but I may have to tell one of my brothers about this. He will sing of it. I'm sure he will sing of it. He sings of everything.
And that's just
He's all.
There's just that look and trying to like coach it down. Okay.
And just that looks because I would like a word with you, little cleric.
Okay.
I think the winged one understands. You, I would like a personal word with, thank you. If you would step with me outside?
Yeah, I'm gonna
We
get
will
up and
stand
follow.
by window, it is well. I understand caution. I would not cause harm to this one, not one that Palor loves so very much. And walks outside.
I'm gonna follow.
Just sort of eyebrow raise at
Yeah,
Alice and
and
not
Alice
saying.
is just fine.
All right.
Fine.
Okay.
It's just, you know how sometimes Hazel needs some reminders that discretion is a thing? I'm gonna let him handle the reminders of discretion being a thing, because I'll tell you this much, we have nothing to fear from that man. If the I'm still having a hard time internalizing, but I'm not going to say it, because A, it sounds ridiculous if I'm wrong, and B, if he wanted us to know, he'd have told us himself.
That's fair.
Meantime, Brendan sort of steps out to looks over at Hazel when she comes in and goes, "You make faces."
Yeah, was trying to keep that one in, and it didn't work so great.
Most of the ones you have been trying to keep in did not go so great. The sun only barely hides behind clouds. You follow your chosen deity in this way. Very little could eclipse your light.
Oh boy.
What needs to be let out of your system, young one?
Just it's. Oh wow, isn't it an honor?
Not so very much. I am not so different than most of you. Not anymore.
Still, you'd think I'd be used to this sort of thing, given the encounters we've had. It just, oh wow.
See, this is part of why I say what you may call me. And I travel as an adventurer. This reaction is not one I seek. It's one I gave up. I did it. You know why I did it.
Yeah.
But this is a thing that needs to be seen happen by a certain type of person. I am here because I am that type of person, still, in part. The only other cannot be near this place.
Agreed.
Can you treat me as friend?
Yeah, I can most definitely do that.
I like being friend. I like being slightly silly and cheerful and not taken over seriously.
And very much amused by our shenaniganery.
Well, you are incredibly amusing. It's wonderful to remember that the religious sorts, they do not all take themselves so very, very seriously.
There's maybe one or two people I think need to be reminded of that every once in a while, but
even those, you need them as a contrast, as a I believe the comics refer to it as straight men. If you did not have your Estan, then your Lyra would not be so quietly amusing.
Yeah.
And your Jenna would be a different kind of formidable.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a series of mental images. Thank you for that.
Enjoy them. The mental images are yet another gift. So
Yeah.
yes, I think in time I will make sure that you all understand. You and your winged friend do more than most, I think. But for now, that's not necessary, and it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Let them think me silly young adventurer man who simply wants to witness history.
And that if
Because that's mostly
all
what I
luck
am, you know
rolls in
this.
our direction. Yeah. Yes, very much so.
It claps over both shoulders.
Well, so back in then.
You go ahead. I will give it a minute. I have some people to say good evening to. People, various definitions thereof, you know.
Yep. Thank you again for everything you gave us by doing what you did.
It's kind of worth it. I still get to be here. Cupcakes are a distinct advantage, you know this.
A glorious one.
And sits down, puts his sword across his knees, and prays, as far as you can tell.
And I'm going to head back in.
Well, say looks up, sorted then?
Yep.
More chill now?
A lot more. Just had to get that out of yeah. Had to get that. I had to hear that lecture.
It looked like friendly one.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go back to my seat and settle in. He's
If I'm,
Yeah, go ahead.
if I may,
Let him, Smeagol. You know. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
if I may interrupt, do I want to know what that individual is? Because that's not a normal person.
Okay, wait a minute. How
Or-
from an out of character perspective, how the fuck do you know that?
Because that's a vet out of a character perspective. Because he's goddamn weird.
He's dopey. That's all. That's like.
All right.
It's like look. I've hung around with these guys the longer you keep it because the response is I've been around with these guys long enough to know that there's a certain level of derp that happens.
Essentially, yeah. That's the sum of it.
Or do you guys always just start telling everyone what you're about to do?
Not everybody, but
It was important in this case.
Yeah, not everybody, but I got a good read off him.
Hmm.
All right.
I'm a bard, and that's kind of what we do. So
looks at Hazel, and then looks at Barnabas and goes, "Look, like I said earlier on, because I realized, Brian, you didn't hear this because your sound was going to shit. Thing is, some of us got a better read off him than others. It's important that he's here. If it had just been any other dopey-ass new adventurer, we probably wouldn't have taken him along to something this important, because the things that will be potentially sent against us is not something that we want to send a newbie adventurer up against. But first of all, he wears that armor and carries that sword like he knows how to use them. We need all the help we can get.
Yep.
And there are other reasons that are his to tell but are not threatening to us. In any way, shape, or form. Anything to add, Hazel?
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that's. Alice say pretty much took any words I could have had right out of my mouth. I'm gonna put my faith in the read I got off him because Paylor gave me that capacity to do so, and if it's something, if that's the impression I got, and that Alice just essentially transcribed by translating my flail.
I'm getting good at that.
Then we're gonna go with it because faith is as faith is.
I'm still new to it.
You gotta work with it.
I'm still new to it myself, but you know what? Looking at Alice and Hazel here and getting a little bit of my own, I'm gonna run with it. Besides, honestly, we need all the help we can get, and if he's willing to come along, and like Alice said, he, at the very least, wears his gear well.
We've seen some people wearing their gear particularly shittily.
Boy, did we!
Yeah, flashbacks to that one group we walked by. Anyway.
You okay, Clarity? You look a bit dubious.
I mean, I'm not a person of faith in the capital F sort of sense. But I have my faith in these guys. And
yeah, see, you don't have to have faith in God specifically, but you can have faith in us. That's faith. There you go.
There you go.
And to be fair, I'm technically descended from gods, so I guess you have a little tiny bit of faith of the capital F variety.
Small F. Small F. Small F.
I tease. I kid. I'm technically a bard. It's part of what I do.
I'm descended from devils, so I balance out.
Actually, here's a story that I should probably give you because I think you might appreciate it. I picked up a lot of stories when I was bumming around various bits of Equitas, and one of them touched on tieflings. The whole thing about they were the result of some bloodline bargain bit of bullshit. There's some philosophers that believe that that's actually bullshit. Some say that tieflings are the bits of devils that seek freedom from being tied to evil. They can choose it if they want to. But even devils might want to be free. I mean, given what I've been hearing about what's going on in Avernus, it doesn't surprise me.
That's an interesting way to.
Like I say, it's a philosophy. You'll have to come down to the Tipsy Pixie and have chats with some of the Almaver philosophers. They talk in vast looping, but that what they have to say is really interesting. They have very interesting outlooks on the world.
If you think Remy said I'm rather circular, but yeah, no, they
look at the world in weird angles.
Verbal not work, I think.
Macrame, verbal macrame.
There you go. That's a good way. Yes.
You may have noticed Darvin and I do a really fantastic double act.
Oh, yeah. Is that something that happens a lot at the Tipsy Pixie philosophizing?
Yes, actually.
That's not what I heard. Or
perhaps introduced you to Kizia, and that's going to be awesome, and there's going to be conversations for ages.
Look at it this way. As a former employee, and Darvin can back me up on this. When our company is asked for, it's not just for. You guys said she once put it as bodily pleasures in Clarity voice. When we arrive, yeah, the look is important, but we're also asked about other skills we might have. Are we good conversationalists? Are we good masseuses, or can we be trained to do so? What are our areas of interest and expertise? Do we sing? Do we dance? Do we play an instrument? If not, are we interested in learning? We're entertainers. We're just a little more. There's a more of a potential for full body there. And the other thing is that if we don't want a client, we can turn them down. If we look at them and if they like the look of us and we look at them and we read them and go, no, they want someone else, or if we just think, yeah, no, we'll say no. Looks at Remy, smiles. Sometimes we luck out.
It was mostly a joke, though.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's one of the few things that makes me really proud to have actually worked there. But everybody hears, brothel, and they go straight to the bodily pleasures, and they don't think about the. I hear you after your massage with Marta was.
I was going to bring that up as all I needed was just to relax, and that's all, there was nothing else, and it was wonderful.
She liked your stories about the Star Coast Market, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she said you're a far better bard when you're a bit more relaxed and just telling something dear to your heart.
This is true. Yes, I'm trying to tap into that more and keep that in mind.
You're getting it. You're getting it. But it's new for you. I understand, and not everybody connects with it as easily as all that. You're learning, and I'm probably still going to be a bit hard on you, but
good.
It's out of affection,
I know. Please continue. And Clarity, I give absolutely no shits what anyone thinks of tieflings in general. I adore you. I adore Candor. And I adore that one other kink. But y'all are wonderful.
Gelfred.
That's right. We've so many names. Some of them blur a bit. You're amazing. You're wonderful. And I'm thrilled that you're back. And you will forever be family.
And you're
stuck with us. Deal.
Raises her shot glass. Heseltine is still a fuckwit.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is.
As a brief further example, Kezia helped manage gesturing to all the hair.
Yeah, you'll notice that her hair is actually a little glossier and less likely to poof.
It does look nice.
There were so many explanations as to how to deal with all of it. And if she hadn't done that, scraggly would have been the result, and the desert would have probably eaten about a third of it. And I do not want to ever lose any of this. Thank you.
We don't want to lose any of you.
Yeah, apart from the ends, I'm sure Kizzy gave you the lecture about trimming the split ends.
Yeah, that was... Yes.
Oh, yeah, by the way, the next time you actually need that done, digs in her bag and pulls out a pair of very small, very sharp scissors. Snick.
Thank you!
Also means we can do your bangs. They're starting to get in your face. Anyone else want trims? Say the word. I did do some listening. I couldn't do that with my own because it was too much in the back, and I needed too much of it cut for these tiny little things. These are split end scissors. I should have got some regular scissors, but having chop off the burned bits with a dagger made up for the fact that I was losing so many of the burned bits. I need to find like a druid or somebody who can help me regrow this faster. It's annoying.
Duly noted.
I know a druid.
one that, yeah, I suppose we could ask. I met Andre briefly. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
She's a sweetie.
Andre
But then again, she was raised at
probably
Hearth
the-
Home, so she's gonna be.
She was the first one I was thinking of too.
Well, for now, at least I can braid it to hide it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, really quickly before Francine comes back downstairs, because I think she's moving around up there, and so she might be down soon. You still do a little bit of sewing and things, right? You know, the whole tailoring thing?
Occasionally, yes.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's been a while, but I could.
Well, I have a shirt that I need to have altered a little bit. Taken up in the waist by a couple of inches, and maybe kind of let out in the sort of back-ish kind of area. But I'll hand it over to you later, because and it still fits me fine, but it needs some adjustments elsewise.
Yeah. It's not difficult. Not gonna. Darwin's not gonna ask. It's just
Insight check.
Insight check if you want
plans.
to. Yeah, insight check if you want to.
Sure, why not?
That's my second roll, and it's just boom, nat 20.
4.
Clarity.
I'm deliberately not.
Clarity and Barnabas are just like, it's Bard shit. We don't know. Ava and Hazel in particular. Okay, shortened in the waist, so it's being for someone shorter than she is. Broader muscles in the back, and looks at Remy and does a quick evaluation of the rather shorter, somewhat broader in certain bits of I carry armor with this muscles, and for Ava it's largely there's one of Alice's shirts that she thinks would look really good on Remy, but it won't fit. Hazel, Remy tried on one of her shirts and probably would have liked it if it had fit, and now Alice is making sure it does.
And being the tailor, and yeah, I mean, I don't know that an insight check would have even been.
It wouldn't have been
basically.
necessary.
I figured, I as a player, I figured it out, and I decided Darwin was just probably be picked up on it, but it was like, nope, not gonna worry about it. Well, not gonna worry about the reasons why, because none of my business. So.
Yeah, it would have been tricky if Rizwin was still with us, but because then I would have made you make an insight check to see, how many inches are we talking about here, because there'd be a few more inches that you'd have to, well, maybe another inch or two that you'd have to take off for it to be Rizwin, and Rizwin's a little more all over broadening, just because she's sturdy dwarf stock, and Alice is more in the core strength than anything else. But given Darvin being Taylor, given she's not talking about sleeves, this is probably a sleeveless shirt, and he probably remembers the one sleeveless shirt that Alice picked up while she was in Eggriff, this sort of silky, silvery kind of a thing. Which would actually suit Remy depending on how the light hit it, because it's sort of one of those ones that shimmers off gold in some lights and off silver in other lights. And the off silver in particular would go well with the dark hair and the skin tone.
Clarity thinks that Alice wants something that shows off her midriff.
Alice is actually probably already wearing something that shows off her midriff. A lot of her shirts do, and she's resistant to cold damage, and she was a lot of her raising was up north. Cold doesn't bother her. You guys are all bundled up against the cold, and she's kind of wearing a cloak half off her shoulders just in deference to the fact that people are going to think she's weird if she doesn't.
I'm going to go into the bag of holding. If I recall, I've got a few assortments of the jams and the like, so I'm just going to pull out the bits and what have you. I recall the flavors that Alice like being mango.
Yes. Actually, I think you still have a couple of little pots of mango jam from that Dune folk, Agway settlement that you guys were in.
I'm just gonna produce one of those. Pull out some of the bread. Pull out the cran raspberry stuff. The cran apple. The home one.
Apple cranberry preserves. Yes.
Apple cranberry and apple cranberry for everybody. And mango, and one extra mango bit for Alice, and one extra mango bit for Remy.
And on the note of pre-box collection snacks, we will call it, because we're running a little over, but then again, given that we lost a half an hour, that's not overly surprising. And we'll see y'all in 2 weeks' time when we can actually stop stalling and finally get you to the various bits that we are gearing up for.